Hello, I'm Pasapong Mentesong. I'm your host for our presidential debate 2020. Please introduce yourself.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is View and I'm running for the president. I'm here to talk about what I'm going to do to make this country better than before. Thank you.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Nisha Sumanrasami. I am the candidate for the IEM land. I am here to improve our country to the next step.
Hello there, people. I am Lan. I am Ayapong Tim Sha Tong, and you are right here are currently running for a place in the president office. Please vote for your boy Music. Music is here for improving everything and enhancing the quality of people's life. Thank you.
Yeah. Hello, people from IEM Land. My name is Mook. I'm running for your president.
So first question is, what do you prefer between capitalism and socialism economy and why?
Thank you for the question, son. Both capitalism and socialism have different pros and cons. But which one do I prefer? I prefer the socialism. Socialism will make everyone be in the same level. No one will have more advantages than other, even though they are smarter, because everyone is equally valuable and have to be treated in the same way. As the one who strongly believes in equality, I prefer the socialism. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Amy. But I prefer capitalism because I think our citizens can do what they want as long as it's legal. It also helps stimulate the economy and attract the foreigners to trade with our country more and more. And you say that everyone is equally valuable. So you mean that the lazy people will get something even though they do nothing? It's very unfair for the hardworking people. Thank you.
Thank you for providing your point, Will. But I think a majority of people, including you guys, have been trashing the socialism system for long enough. Consider that the history has not been too kind for this kind of system, and people are too mean as of today. Centralized planning is the better way to govern our people, controlling the market cycle and give people the most benefits toward life quality. We can have an equal distribution in good in our fair society. Our people will be granted immunity for the market system and for the market failure. And our country will go faster as a country. No more people have to get hurt from the pitilessness from the world. The world is harsh. And we can help it with socialism. We can create a pure place for everyone to coexist. No more need to do too much hard work with minimal effort. And no more have to do so little work to get so high. Everyone can do the same thing. We're going to be so happy together. This is what everybody wants, right? Equality and peace. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Music. But don't you think it's not fair? If one person is working really hard, but they get the same standard with someone who is really lazy? I think it's also slow national economic growth and diminish motivation of investment too. So I prefer capitalism. Capitalism is good for economic growth, with firms and individuals facing incentives to be innovative and work hard. This creates a climate of innovation and economic expansion. This helps to increase real GDP and lead to improved living standards. This increased wealth enables a higher standard of living. In theory, everyone can benefit from this increased wealth. And there is a trickle-down effect from rich to poor too.
So move on to the next question. Do you agree with government economic interference?
I think government intervention is crucial in some ways, such as control price or collect tax for public good. Additionally, government intervention is necessary to redistribute income within society, such as fairness. In a free market, inequality can be created. Without a government intervention, firms can exploit monopoly power to pay low wage to workers and charge high price to consumers. Therefore, government intervention can promote greater equality of income, which is perceived as fairer.
Thank you so much, Mook, but I'm not agree with the government economic interference because the private ownership of property gives individuals security and a means to control their own affairs. Ownership brings responsibility and allow individuals to plan for the future so as to provide for themselves and their families. For example, owning a house, a business, or some land makes it possible to borrow against that property that so that individuals can invest for the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Will. But I gotta say, I agree with that one. I think the term interference is exaggerated to be on point. There need to be some frame and wall to the free economy world. And the wall is the government. I know it sounds a bit bad, but please hear me out first. There need to be a group of experts and elites in helping in enhancing the economy. The acts such as freeing the lines and company are enough to enhance our world as of today. The intervention help in creating equality in market and overcome market failure. Monopoly might fail and we need a countermeasure on that. And what happened if another pandemic and disaster struck? Do you think free company could care enough to help others except themselves? Look right now at the COVID situation. They cannot even help themselves. What about others? It is because we need some form of central power to control it. To stimulate the economy, and people need to open their heart instead of saying, oh, freedom good and forcing bad. They need to open their heart a bit. Thank you.
And I do agree with the government economic interference, since the government will be able to provide the chances to every citizen equally. In doing business, we will make the law that can protect the customer and control the private business, so they will not be able to take advantage on customers and had good products with reasonable price. At the same time, how could we control the private company if we don't have government? So, I totally agree with government economic interference. Thank you.
The third question is the global warming the greatest threat in the human history?
Yeah, thank you, Sun. I think global warming is the most significant environmental problem the world is currently facing. As the global temperature increases, the ice at the North Pole will melt, leading to a rise in sea levels. Many low-lying countries will be covered by the sea. Another effect will be the occurrence of many more on and deadlier hurricanes, resulting in economic consequences. Due to the damage caused, governments would need to spend a lot of money on repair and providing the people the basic needs of human beings. Usually, the deaths happen, diseases could result. It is predicted that diseases could spread at a fast rate with deadlier effects due to the change in the climate.
That is a good point, Mook, but if global warming is the greatest threat in human history, we would have died, right? What we need to concern is the other problems that we are facing now. People are killing each other. Climate change doesn't kill us instantly, and we can still live through it. But we must concentrate it on the other point. Thank you.
But we don't die now, but in the future, we will. The global warming affects everything in our world. For example, climate change and the rising of the sea level. These phenomena have effect not only animal, but human as well. Therefore, as a human who live in the world, I determine to find the way to solve this problem, but only me or my country alone can solve it. Which is why we have the policy to have an agreement or conference about the global warming with other countries in the future to help every human from this greatest threat. Thank you.
Oh, thank you for your words, Abi. But this is a very debatable issue, but the real question is it the greatest threat ever? I mean, no. There is so little we can do to stop global warming. It's nature doing, and we can't really do anything to it. I mean, there are a lot of ways to prolong it, but the question is it the greatest threat? I must say no. I think if you want to restrain it, we must extinguish the source of this, the greed and the thoughtlessness of ours. The real reason global warming has become more powerful than ever is people. We need to enforce our laws in order to push our people and to be disciplined and obey the rule of thumb. And if we succeed in that part, most of the problem in this world will be gone. Boom! To summarize all my points is, number one, we can only prolong global warming. And two, The roots of global warming is a real threat to this world and will harm us in the far future, like much faster than the effect of a global warming. And three, we already survived like 3 ice ages, and the world has been much colder since then. It's just a little bit hot, it will go down again. I mean, I do believe in global warming, but its effect compared to other threats in the world is so much more like safer. Thank you.
So next topic is, does the renewable energy really solve the problem of climate change?
Thank you so much, Sun. I think renewable energy is one of the most effective tools we have in the fight against climate change. Wind and solar energy have experienced remarkable growth and huge cost improvements over the past decade with no signs of slowing down. Prices are declining rapidly, and renewable energy is becoming increasingly competitive with fossil fuels all around the country. In some places, renewable energy is already cheaper than continuing to operate old, inefficient, and dirty fossil fuel-fired or nuclear power plants. So I want to build renewable energy resources for everyone to use, no matter who they are. Everyone deserves clean energy. Thank you.
Okay, Will, but I have to disagree with you about this. Yes, the renewable energy is one way, but it can't really solve the problem. The more efficient way is reducing the harmful action to the environment, such as cutting the wood that help about the climate change, than using renewable energy. Moreover, it is still expensive now, so I think that we should care about the forest more in order to solve the problem of the climate change. Thank you.
Thank you for your wise words, Amy. But I think you already said what I want to say. I completely agree that it's the most effective way to stop climate change. It's the key to stopping everything. The stopping of climate change is benefited by the eco-friendly energies. It's the best we can do at this current time. The context, like you said, has cost quite a lot, but adaptability and need to happen for maximum efficiency. But honestly, it's a win-win for everyone if this maneuver works, which it might, like it must work. We can get a clean energy for a very long time and the world will be healthier. I cannot say much because, to put it bluntly, the question already answered itself. It's the most effective way. Is there a better way to tackle this for a long term? No. We have to start by getting rid of the carbon emissions and other factors, and renewable energy is the way. It heals and it helps the world. I cannot say that, and it's the best way with the least consequences. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Music. I agree with your point, but not at all. I don't think the renewable energy is good enough. I think it's expensive and can use nationwide. So it is not the best choice for now. I think simply switching to renewables alone will not solve the climate change problems. We need to start removing carbon from the atmosphere, and we need to tackle the demand side first. I'm not saying that we shouldn't transition to renewable energy. Not at all. But that alone will not save the climate. The world's climate experts and leaders in business, government and NGOs who are gathering for yet another UN conference would do well in starting to engage with the uncomfortable task. Thank you.
The question is it necessary to help other countries from disasters?
Thank you for the question, Sun. Helping other countries from disasters seems to be a good action, but in my opinion, it's unnecessary because it costs a lot of money. And how would we be sure that we could get something back after helping them? And even we got something, would it worth for the money that we lost? Moreover, there are so many disasters in our country already, especially flood. So, I think we should spend money on helping our own country first, than the other. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. But to be fair, you're a little bit selfish when you use, but I think it's fine. Yeah, I agree with Amy with some extent. We have to help our country first to survive every pandemic. But if we succeed at that point, if we reach the apex point, which our country is safe enough for everyone and can aid others, I think it's a good thing. I do value every country, even the red one. Yes, they exist. I think with enough precaution and preparation, we can create a link and a firm to support a needed country, kind of like UNICEF or UN, but on a larger scale. We will give up the most effective way to help and to aid. There are going to be a lot of problem and tidbits follow up. But if we succeed in the other question I already answered, the process will be a lot more easier. We help them, and by the end, they aid us back. Now, I understand that they might not help us back because, they're just, regaining and rejuvenating. But it's fine. It's the way of the priest. Not everything have to be black and white. Not everything have to be equal and equal. Okay, we can help us back. It's fine for me. And that's the way of the priest. And of course, we have to help ourselves first, like I said earlier. And before we can do anything, I think a contingency plan for providing needs to others will be very nice. Thank you.
Yeah, music, that is a good point, but I agree with Amy. We need to help our country first. Although if we can help the other countries, do we still have enough money to help them? Even though we can help them in other problems, such as trading between the countries, we also have supplies for our country if there are disasters. But if we help them, we must give some tools or provide money for them. We might not have enough for them too. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, Will, but I don't agree with you at all. Helping someone who's suffering is a waste of humanity. Definitely, yes, we need to help them. It represents our humanity and compassion of our country. Normally, humans always help someone who is suffering in daily life, for instance, donating money for those who suffer online. However, maybe one country can't help them enough, as you said. But so we better group together with other countries at an organization to help the countries who suffer from the disasters by open for donation and establish fund for helping them. I think that would help them more effectively.
The next question is, does United Nations really necessary at the present time?
Okay, yes, thank you for the question, Sam, by the way. Yes, I think now is the time that the UN really need to up their game. I mean, to be fair, I really think that the UN is kind of useless, but I do agree with some extent that the United Nations really necessary at this time. The UN acts more like a spectator, not a provider it used to be, which is super inquisitive and important, but we still need a UN now. I think we need an organized UN to clear things up a bit. The road now is a large pile of mess, and we need at least some middle ground to stand on. We don't have to make a new organization because the UN already exists. Push UN to the top and some major conflicts might be ceased. Even with the UN, the world is now a pile of tangled wires, so we need UN for the face of the world, you can say, like a council deciding on imperative contents. And what better choice do we have right now? UN is something we can also improve upon too. Pretty neat for a multi-presidential organization. Thank you.
Yeah, music, but I know that the duties of UN is very crucial theoretically, but they didn't do them effectively since they established. Looking at events around the world since the founding of the United Nations, it appears that wars have been going on every continent all the time. This is the greatest failure of the United Nations. The United Nations had a United Nations Security Council, but cannot stop the war at all. Since the launch of the former Secretary General of the United Nations, there are efforts to improve the United Nations to be a place where you can return to depend on the world again. Until the current Secretary General, there was no effective change.
Yeah, thank you, Mook. That was a good one. But I am totally agree with music, sir. The aims of the United Nations system is 1, to maintain the international peace and security, 2, to encourage international cooperation in the spheres of social, economic, and cultural developments, and 3, to develop friendly relations among nations on principles of equal rights and self-determination, and the last one, to recognize the fundamental rights to all of the people. If you think all of these things still happen, so we still need it. Is that right, Amy?
I'm sorry, Will, but I am disagree with you. Since from all the aim of United Nations that you have just said, none of them they have really achieved, even though they have been built for a long time. As you can see, there are many conflicts have happened all the time, such as Rwanda genocide, that UN have done nothing with it, which is completely against their own aim. Moreover, United Nations is clearly biased to America. So what's point for having the UN that can do nothing but just living as a sign of fake peace? Which is why I think that the UN is now unnecessary. Thank you.
So, is the euthanasia a crime or not?
Yeah, I think many patients in a persistent vegetative state or else in chronic illness do not want to be a burden on their family members. Euthanasia can be considered as a way to honoring the right to die with dignity and also encouraging the organ transplantation. Euthanasia in terminally ill patients provides an opportunity to advocate for organ donation. This in turn will help many patients with organ failure waiting for transplantation. Not only euthanasia gives right to die for the terminally ill, but also the right to live for the organ needy patients. Thank you.
Euthanasia is absolutely a crime. When you were little kids, you were taught that killing people is bad, right? You could have another way to cure the illness. Your life is very important, sir. You should know that the doctors didn't want to kill you. They might feel guilty by killing people who want an euthanasia. Thank you.
Absolutely not. This is a free world, ma'am. I don't think it is wrong to choose the day of your death. There are many processes for euthanasia. It's not like anyone can go and die. You must see a doctor paper and other things too. Even though I believe in trying to be living your fullest life and live during the hard times, I completely understand why people thought death is the best solution. There are not a lot of ways to deal with severe pain in mental and physical state. Yes, you can get treated, but what if your chance of survival are super low? What if your mental state cannot be cured? Are you sure you want to live the rest of your life be crumble and in pain all the time? I'm talking with an optimistic viewpoint right now. Optimism isn't about seeing the world as a beautiful garden full of flowers. It's about seeing the world with your own eyes and moving on. The world is a deadly garden and we can sprout our own flower in a wasteland. Nobody wants to die in a horrific and sad death. You agree with me, Amy?
No, music. Killing is crime. So, why not killing yourself is not a crime too? Euthanasia or mercy killing seem to be a good choice for people who is suffer from anything. Yet, it would make people give up so easily and die without care for people who love them. Music, you said that dying is the best solution for some people, but no, it's absolutely wrong. If euthanasia is not considered as a crime but a solution, then many people will just give up and not fight for other solution anymore. And they would just ignore how much the people in their life hurt if they just decide to die. So, I think hurting people feeling and killing your own life is enough to consider euthanasia as a crime. Thank you.
The last question is, do all people should have rights to own guns?
Thank you so much, son. Guns are one of the most dangerous weapons. If people have rights to own their own guns, what do you think that it will happen? Nowadays, the rate of crime with guns committed is increasingly higher and higher. If guns become legally sold and everyone could buy it, then everyone can hold a gun, right? Some people don't feel safe with a gun in their house. If their family has a violence and abuses each other, some of them would pick a gun and shot. This is very dangerous. That's why I do not agree that all people should have rights to own the guns. Thank you.
I disagree with you, Will. Yes, the gun is very dangerous weapon. But for your information, Will, it is not only for attacking, but is for defending as well. The people will be able to protect themselves more from the thief and dangerous animal. Now, there are so many victims that are abused by the thief or raper. And it is because they have nothing to make themselves. Moreover, I think people would feel better if they can have a gun to help them in emergency situation. Therefore, I think people should have rights to own gun. Thank you.
Amy, yeah, I think that's pretty good too. But as you can see, a large portion of people don't know how to properly use a gun. And I didn't mean in a practical way. I mean, everyone can, pew, like that. But I mean, in the project, a way to protect or use it as a mental attribute to support their lives. Amy, you said that people need guns to protect themselves from different matter of facts, right? Like crime.
Yeah.
But isn't that a government job? Or are you saying that the police ain't reliable at all? That means you are a lazy ruler and you just let people do whatever they want. I see that owning guns is meant to further violence and is an unprecedented law for incompetents to use. It's just a facade to cover the laziness to seize the problem and is the most least effective way to reprimand violence, no matter how you say it. Yes, I know that New York has a right to own guns, but it works in that context. Other places will be feel wrong and violated. Do you think? How many people have been ready for use a gun for protect themselves? I think it's very low. Thank you.
Yeah. Mystic, I get your point, but I know that not every people should be able to own guns. That's why we have to take several surveys to able to own one. If they think that a person is not fit for a gun or is a threat to own a gun, they should have the authority to not allow them to own a gun one by one. Imagine you were the woman who lived alone in the house, then the criminals break into your house. Why do they college to do that? It's because every criminal knows there is no way you could fight them back. Statistics show a criminal is less likely to harm a citizen if they are armed with weapons. They should be able to own for their own safety. Thank you. Yeah, in conclusion, I'm not telling you that developing country is easy, but I'm telling you that it's worth it. With my experience and passion, I can be a great president for you all. I promise I will do my best for our country. I would be honored if one of you vote for me. Thank you.
Thank you. It's an honor really to be here, and it's even more to be a more honor if I get to be in the presidential spot. Please vote for me. I may not be the clearest person, but right now I'm the purest person in this room. I stand for peace, justice, and freedom for our land. I value every person. I will bring tranquility and quality to IEM land like no one ever did before. Thank you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, with my policy, I am sure that I can improve our country to the next step. And if you vote for me, I promise you that I will never let you down. The better education for the brighter future. Thank you.
According to our policy, I assure that I can improve our country in every way I can. I'll be the honest to everyone. With my potential and your vote, we'll make our country move forward to the future, to the best place, that everyone can live peacefully, equality, endowed with the same dignity. We will build our ideal world together. Thank you.
Hello, I'm the editor, and here are my thoughts on the debate. To start off, Music is really persuasive with his speech. I think his speech is really neat, but he stuttered a bit too much. Next is View. I think she's a strong speaker and she's very believable. But to be fair, she looks a bit too aggressive with her words. Coming up is Amy. She has a clear voice and motivation. She sounds determined with her simple words. She's really struggled while speaking. Lastly is Mook. She's charming with her words. I quite like her antics. She's the least best keeping herself together. As a whole, I quite like Music as a candidate. This is the way I've spoken. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to vote for our candidates. See you soon. Bye.